big question with the November visa bulletin and people seeing what's happening with EB3, all the people that downgraded in October of 2020 from EB2 to EB3, now EB2 might be current. What do? How do you, if you want to get back into EB2, do you interfile? Do you refile? What's the difference between those? So let's start with interfiling. What exactly do you mean by interfiling? Is it as simple as submitting the medical through interfile like we've talked about before?
It is as simple as that, Emily. However, though, the immigration does not act on it just like the way they did in the medical. We have seen so many people getting the green card when they interfiled their medicals. But when it comes to the interfiling the I-140, they need to go and change a lot of the formats because they have an I-140 of EB3, the underlying I-140. Now they have to change it. Sometimes some of the officers will get the point and change it. Sometimes the officer don't. Sometimes it may take a couple of years for them to interfere, especially when these Chinese nationals, Emily. I've noticed that when we used to do interfiling things, it used to be just like Los Angeles lanes. And by the time the officer gets to the EB2, guess what? EB3 moves forward. Then we do interfiling again. So it's a little bit caution when you're filing and interfiling, unlike the medicals where a lot of people got benefited and some people did not. Here, there may be some damage also because it takes a long time for them to move, and then later on if the EB3 moves, then you have to do interfiling again.
Okay. Can you interfile if you have already started using your GCEAD from the EB3 filing?
Absolutely, you can. If you are working with the same company, Emily, even if the people have used the GCEAD, even if they have used the advanced parole, even if the spouse have used their EAD and advanced parole, interfiling can be done absolutely no problem.
What if I've already used AC21 and left that company?
If you have used AC21, left the company, you cannot interfile using the previous company's I-140 under EB2. The reason behind that, Emily, is that I-140 does not belong to the new employer. It belongs to the old employer. Only old employer, the previous employer that filed for I-140, can authorize that I-140 to be used. So if the people have joined to the new employer, they want to use the EB2, they will have to file a labor certification I-140 again to use the interfiling, Emily.
What if my EB3 downgrade I-140 is still pending? Can I interfile and get into EB2?
You cannot get the green card, Emily. Even though you can file the interfile, you cannot get the green card. The reason is that what they look into is that when you file the 485, was it approvable at that time? Was it approvable at all periods of time afterwards though? Since you filed an adjustment of status, it was only based on the I-140 for EB3 because in October of 2020, the EB2 was not current. So we still need the EB3 approval for us to, it makes only sense after the EB3 is approved to interfile for EB2.
Is there any filing fee associated with interfiling?
No, there is no filing fees associated with the interfiling. Absolutely none.
Do I have to use my company's lawyer or can I use my own lawyer for that process?
You have to use the company lawyer. The reason is that our company can authorize you to use your own lawyer, but you need company's authorization because the I-140 belongs to the company. It's not like medical. Medical is yours, your own personal thing. So you can use anybody, you can do by yourself. We have recommended all the people to do by yourself. We have given the link, but that's not the case when it comes to the EB2 interfiling, Emily.
Do I need to wait until my final action date would be current in EB2 to interfile, or can I do it beforehand?
You could do it before the final action date of the EB2 becomes current, but I will tell people not to because who knows, these dates can move front and back. If your final action date is not current on EB2, you do interfile and then guess what? EB3 moves forward. Then what will happen? You actually, did damage to your 485 application. So there's no purpose of doing interfiling for EB2 if the final action date is not correct.
What if my EB2 approval is actually through my spouse. So I'm the main applicant for my EB3 downgrade, and now I want to use my spouse's EB2 I-140 to interfile and have my spouse be the main applicant.
Technically, that's not allowed, Emily, as I pointed out, because in October, though, he was not current. In October of 2020, he is not current at that point of time. He could not have filed the 485 at that point of time. The dependent spouse could not have. So that should confuse the whole system. So I advise not to. If you are eligible for refiling in that case, I would strongly advise to refile. Don't interfile in that particular case. And we're going to address about refiling later on.
Yeah, so getting to refiling, what exactly do you do if you're going to refile?
You have to file the 485 application. Since your I-140 is approved, you have to file a 485J. Medicals, EAD advanced parole, just like the way what people have done in October of 2020, they'll have to file the entire fresh application again, Emily.
So treat it as if you've never filed anything.
That is right. You are going to mention that you did file the 485, but all applications have to be filed again, including photographs, medicals, everything has to be done again.
What if I've used my EAD or my advanced parole and I'm no longer in my non-immigrant status?
If you're not in non-immigrant status, if you're already in adjustment of status, though, you cannot do fresh filing because you must be in a non-immigrant status to file the 485 applications. You lost the opportunity. So at that point of time, the best way is to actually interfile.
So that applies for all family members.
That is right. All family members. Even one family member has used the EAD. Practically, it gets all, practically, not legally, practically, it gets all the entire family not be able to refile the entire 485 application.
Now, I've done a number of consultations on this since the November bulletin came out, and I keep getting told that other lawyers or their employers are telling them that you cannot have two 485s pending, that you need to withdraw one first before you file the second one. Is that true?
No, it's not true. In many instances, there are two 485 applications that have been pending. We were a little bit hesitant before, Emily, in advising people to do the two filings at the same time. But after having all the experiments done in the employment-based itself, using the same labor certification with two I-140s, we are fine right now. We did not have any problem. Now, previously also there are cases where family immigration and business immigration where people have filed through employment-based and they backtracked and they were maintaining the non-immigrant status. We filed the entire 485 application again. We didn't have any problem at all. But with regard to the employment-based, using the same employment-based, we were hesitant a little bit before, but we have no problem. We have no problem in getting anything done. Now, however, though, there is a chance the USCIS may request us to withdraw one of the 485 application. That is especially when they are able to adjudicate one of the things. I'm going to give you the green card. Why don't you withdraw one of the other things?
So if I know that's going to happen, should I just go ahead and withdraw the first one when my final action date is current on the second one?
I used to advise that, especially on the family immigration to business immigration. But when it comes to the EB3 and EB2, Emily, they keep moving differently, though. So that's where I have a problem. When they're moving differently, sometimes EB3 might move forward. So I would not withdraw it at this point of time. I would keep both the things going on. Yes, if I see a lot of backlog in EB3 and nothing moves, after a couple of months, I may decide to withdraw. But at this point of time, I will not do that.
And so we need to pay the filing fees again.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to pay the fees. You have to do the medicals, pictures. And there is another thing, Emily, is the disadvantage in refiling the entire thing, other than fees, is that if you were to want to use the EB2 and you want to move out of the company, though, the 180-day clock starts from the time you refile the entire application, where you want to move from company A to company B.
Now, will they reuse biometrics from the first filing?
There is a chance they may reuse the biometrics. There is a chance for it, but there is a chance they may request you to come to the biometrics again.
So what are the advantages of doing a second filing and keeping both pending?
One definitely is that you get the opportunity to sail in both ports whichever reaches the destination, you can claim that thing at that point of time and then get the green card. That is the best opportunity of the advantages. The second thing is that, Emily, whenever we file the I-140 plus 485 application together as a package though, most of them ended up in Texas Service Center. There are some cases that ended up in Nebraska Service Center. Very less, to my recollection, very less ended up in National Benefit Center. But when you file a standalone 485 application, there is a good chance that they may end up in a National Benefit Center, which is starts with MSC. And if you look into the history of the adjudication, especially from October of 2020 to right now, most of the people's receipt notices which starts with MSC got their green card approved. Most, not all, but most. But the people who have SRC number though, very less number of people got their green cards approved. So because they are filing a sole application though, there's a chance that it may not guarantee, there's a chance it may end up with MSC, which have a better chance. And there's a chance that this may go through much faster than their existing application, which has been pending for a long time.
Another question I get, so if I am going to refile and I'm doing a standalone, so I hopefully can get to the National Benefits Center, does it make a difference if I include my EAD and AP? Should I wait and file those later after I get my receipt notice?
No, I'm going to file it along with the adjustment of status application itself to get the opportunity. By getting an EAD and advanced parole, you're not getting married to any of the application. It's when you use those applications, then you will be considered to be getting married to that particular application. If you just file it, you never get to use it.